Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Jazakumullah to you all, those who've been joined early and been waiting patiently for the class to start. Assalamu alaikum, ST. Can we have a student to do the ta'awuz and opening dua for today?
Can student 2, 6, 7, 8 unmute their mic?
Assalamu alaikum. G2, 6, 7, 8. Assalamu alaikum. Okay, can we try another student, please?
Can student G2, 6, 7, 7 unmute their mic?
G2, 6, 7, 7. Assalamu alaikum.
Because you blow a snandin.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alright.
G2, 6, 7, 7.
Idam.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. How are you?
I'm G2678.
You're G2, 6, 7, 8. Okay, that's brilliant. Jazakallah for telling me that. So let's start the class. So I'll recite ta'awuz, and if you could follow behind me. 1 moment. Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Just the translation quickly. Can you read that for me?
I seek refuge with Allah from Satan the rejected.
Okay, and this too.
In the name of Allah, the gracious, the merciful.
Wonderful, very well read. Okay, let's read the dua together, the prayer for learning and teaching the Holy Quran. Rabbi zidni ilma.
Rabbi zidni ilma.
And the English?
Oh my Lord, increase me in your knowledge.
Well done.
Taha, that's 115.
Jazakallah. That was very well read, G2678. Jazakallah.
Jazakallah
Allah
Allah.
Hafiz. Okay, so we'll do our etiquettes now, and I'm sure most of you, especially that it's the last week of this term, are really familiar with this by now. So I hope you've all done ablution, which is wudu, and I hope you're wearing clean clothes, your heads are covered, and you're sitting in a quiet place. And I hope there's a parent present with you as well. And also, you must use the correct ID in order for you to be called to the mic and given a chance to recite. Okay, so on to today's schedule. Today is class number 42, and it's the 14th of March 2023. So we've just done the assembly and the opening dua and any announcements if there were. When the rule and focus for today is the miniature noon. We'll be practicing that in a moment. After that, we'll be doing, again, chapter 26, which is Ashura, and we'll be doing verses 211 to 220. Then we'll go on to hard words of tilawat, working out how to join words that are difficult and how to recite them. Okay, and then from there onwards, we'll go on to consolidate. We'll do the homework, any announcements, and the end prayer. So, Jazakallah. Okay, 1 moment. Quickly go here. My computer's giving me a bit of. Right, okay. So this is the lesson for today, and I'm sure you've all come across a miniature noon while you're reciting the Holy Quran. So I'm going to read the English to you, and then we'll have a few students to practice this with me. Okay, so miniature noon. At some places, a small noon is written in between two words. It is read only in wasl, which means in continuation. So when we're connecting two words in succession. But if the reader makes a pause at the first word and starts the next word, the small noon will be ignored altogether in reading. It is also called noon qutni. The Quran teaches, well, sorry, I'll read on because that's not relevant to you. So we'll be doing exercise 22.9. And I'll recite it to you once first, and then hopefully we can have a couple of students to go through this and we can read it together. So the noon qutni is this little miniature noon that you see over here. And when you see this noon, the instructions are that while you're reciting over here, as you can see, it is read only in wasl. So when you're reciting it in continuation, that means that when you're not stopping at the end of this word and you're continuing on with your recitation, you are to include the noon in the recitation. So you can see this over here. That's how we read this word. Let me read it to you once. Okay, again. Over here, you can see that while I'm reciting in continuation, I'm not stopping. I will be reciting the noon with the words that I'm reciting in the Holy Quran. So we will read it as a different rule applies if we were to stop at this word and to start this word from the beginning. So at this point, I'm only teaching you about what it means when you see this little noon in the Holy Quran and when you continue to read on. So that's what the lesson is for today. Okay, let's read the next one. Fitnatun sorry. Fitnatun qalaba. Fitnatun qalaba. Excuse me. So you can see underneath these two words that have a small noon in between them, you can see how we're supposed to read it. You can see the ni over here. You can see that. Let me highlight it for you. That's how we read in continuation. Fitnatun qalaba. Okay, and the next one. Sawa'anil akifu. Again, Sawa'anil akifu. So you do include it if you're reciting in continuation when you don't stop on these words. Okay, I hope that's clear. If I could, support teacher, if I could have a student to recite that with me.
And student G2 719, come to the mic.
G2 719, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm well. Now let's read this together. So do you understand when you see a small noon, what are we supposed to do when we're reciting in continuation? We are to include the noon in the recitation. So we are supposed to sound the noon, okay? So let's read that together. خَيْرٌ اطْمَأَنَّ خَيْرٌ مَأَنَّ. Okay, and don't forget all of the other rules. So this noon is a mushadda, then we have to hold on to it for how many seconds, do you know? Do you know how long? Yep, yes, that's right. And do you know why we hold on to it for 2 seconds? Because it is a nunation. Nunation or ghunna means to make the sound go into your nose. And you can only make that nasal sound if you give it 2 seconds. Okay, let's read that together again. خَيْرٌ اطْمَأَنَّ. Okay, let's take it slowly. خَيْرُ Anna.
Anna.
Okay, so underneath this little noon that you see this as it's written here. You can see how it's supposed to be read right underneath it. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Can you see these two words do contain a little noon with a kasra under it? Yeah? And that's how we recite it. As it's seen as well, you can see a miniature noon. You're not to ignore it, okay? Let's read the next one. Fitnatu.
Fitnatu.
Qalaba. So, Neil, remember this is an ikhfa. Why? Because this is a noon sakin and after it is a qaf. In this case, we give it 2 seconds, but only a partial nasal sound. So, Neil.
Nil.
Qalaba.
Qalaba.
Well done. Okay, next one. Sawa'a.
Sawa'a.
Nil'a.
Nil'a.
Kifu.
Kifu.
Okay, let's try that again. Sawa'a.
Sawa'a.
There's an at the end of it because we're reciting this letter with this. Yeah, sawa'a.
Sawa'a.
Nil'a.
Nil'a.
Kifu.
Kifu.
Yeah, okay, well done. So now whenever you see a miniature noon and you're not stopping at any of the words, what do you have to do? You have to include it in the recitation. I hope you understand that. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Jazakallah G2719. That was really good reading.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Jazakallah. Support teacher, can I have one more student to practice this with me?
And student G2715, unmute their mic.
G2715. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam rahmatullah. Okay, let's practice this together. Let me read it and then you can read it with me. And then we'll go through what you understand. Khayru.
Khayru.
Nitma'anna.
Mitma'anna.
Anna, noon. Can you see this letter here is a noon, and you have to remember what happens when you see a noon mushaddad. What is special about the noon mushaddad?
Often prolong it for 2 seconds.
Correct. Okay, and why do we prolong it for 2 seconds?
Because it has a shadda on top of it.
Correct, and it's a nasal sound that we need to express. So whenever we see a noon mushaddad or a mim mushaddad, the same rule applies, and the rule is called a ghunna. In order to do the ghunna, you need to give it 2 seconds and send the noise into your nasal passage. So let's try that again. Anna.
Anna.
Well done. Okay, let's read that together. So خير اطمأن.
خير نطمأن.
Well done. Okay, so do you understand when you see a miniature noon, what you have to do if you are to continue to read? What do you do in this case?
You join it to the sukoon.
Yes, well done. So you include the noon in the recitation. Yeah? Okay, let's read the next one. Fitnatu.
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 Ninqalaba.
Ninqalaba.
Fitnatu ninqalaba.
Fitnatu ninqalaba.
Well done. So when we're doing the ikhfa sound, this just needs a little practice. So when you're reciting it, the sound is a partial nasalization. So it's not very clear noon, it's a slightly hidden noon. And how you do that is bring your tongue slightly back when you're expressing this noon. You don't say nin, you say ninqalaba.
Ninqalaba.
Much better. So if you practice that in your recitation, if you practice it again and again, then you'll get much better at it. Let's read that one more time. Let's read it from here so you can understand what we're learning. Fitnatun qalaba.
Fitnatu qalaba.
Okay, next one. Sawa.
Sawa.
So when we're saying this sound, it's remember the sounds for these strokes here. This is a short vowel, a fatha. What are the rules? You remember for the fatha? It's 1 second. Don't prolong it for more than 1 second. And there's no sort of like, it's not a jerk sound. It's just softly recited. So we don't say ah, otherwise it will become a sakin letter. In this case, we say ah, just gently. Let's try that again. Sawa.
Sawa.
Okay. Nil'a.
Nil'a.
Kifu.
Kifu.
Okay, so let's read it all together. Sawa'anil akifu.
Sawa'anil akifu.
Well done. That was a bit tricky. This is similar to the hard words that we're learning as well, that we will be learning in a moment. When you find something difficult, it's much better to slow down. This ayn here is quite tricky again. So if remember, this is a letter from the throat and you have to constrict your throat in order for the letter to come out correctly. So do you want to try that one time? Ah, rather than ah, it's a sound like ah.
Ah.
Well done. That's exactly the sound. So do you want to say ah?
Ah.
Well done. So that sound, when you're reciting at home, you're doing your tilawat, you should remember to make that sound and practice it as you go, and it will gradually, it will become habit for you. That was really well read. Jazakallah G2 715.
Jazakallah, Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
But Miss, can you put the form in the chat, please?
The form is already in the chat. For those of you who are regularly joining, you must know we place it in the beginning. So if you could fill out the attendance form, that would be good. Jazakallah. And I think my support teacher has just, again, put it in the chat. So if you'd like to fill out that form for us, that would be very helpful. Okay. Jazakallah. Okay, on to the practice part of our session today. So support teacher, can I have a student to practice with me, please?
Student G2 672, unmute their mic.
G2 672, Assalamu alaikum. I don't think we have G2 672. If you could choose another student.
And student G2 632, unmute their mic.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. How are you?
I'm good.
Good, alhamdulillah. So let's get on with reading, and I'll recite, and if you could follow. Okay. Wama.
Should I read?
Yes, go ahead. Wama.
Should I
Can
start
you
with those?
Yeah, you can start with those if you like. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Okay, let's recite from here. I hope you can see my screen well.
I can see it.
Wonderful. Okay. Wama
وما
tanazzalat
تنزلت
bihi shayatin.
به شياطين.
Okay, so when we come across a shadda letter, you understand we have to join them. And to join them, we need to join the he onto the sh first, the sh sound, and then we make the sound of the mutaharrik part of this letter. In this case, it's a fatha. So we say hish, sha. Yeah, let's try that. Bihish shayateen.
به الشياطين
Well done. Wama
وما
yambaghi.
ينبغي.
Ghain. This one here is a ghain. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yeah, let's read that again. Yambaghi.
ينبغي
Lahum wama
لهم وما
yastati'un.
يستطيعون.
Well done. Okay. Innahum
إنهم
عن السمع
عن السمع
لمعزولون.
لمعزولون.
Okay, well done. That was a really good recitation. You read very, very well. Just one thing. So when we're holding on to the meme, let's say in this case, you see this meme is a what kind of a meme is this? Do you know?
Wait.
So
Is
what?
it a shadda?
So what stroke does it carry above it? A shadda or a sukoon? What do you think? It's a sukoon. Yeah? This is a meme sakin, right? So when we stop on this meme sakin, it's important. So we sometimes get into bad habits, actually. What happens, we think we need to stop on it for longer than we need to. This is just 1 second. So we say hum rather than hum. Don't hold it for 2 seconds. Over here, you'll see this little meme over here, okay? Straight after this meme, you'll see there's always a ba. In this case, we do hold it for 2 seconds. So don't get it confused with this little meme. Okay, this singular meme by itself that is a sukoon, that carries a sukoon, is just 1 second recitation. Yeah.
Yes.
So this meme will be read as yamba. That's 2 seconds. This one will be read as hum rather than hum. Let's read it. Lahum wama.
لهم وما.
Yeah, it's really important not to hold on to it for too long. Okay.
Okay.
Let's try this ayn as well, because I know you can do it. So let's try that together. This one's quite tricky. Let's try it because it's a different sound to the alif. And this is how you recite this ayn. Aoon. Strict your throat just a little and it will help you. Let's try that one more time. Aoon. Well done. So you know that there's a really big difference between this E and this O. And the thing is, because you know it phonetically, you'll pick it up over time. But do remember in your recitation to remember to try and make it different to the alif. So if this was an alif with a dhamma above it, you'd read it as U. But in this case, because it's an ayn, you read it as an U rather than an U. Can you notice the difference?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, wonderful. Other than that, your recitation was very, very good. Jazakallah G2 632.
Jazakallah.
Okay, Allah Hafiz. Support teacher, can I have another student to recite with me?
Can student G2 733 unmute their mic?
G2733, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Right, 1 moment. If you could come closer to the mic, that would be really helpful. Okay. Yes, I can hear you. Okay, go ahead. Okay, so let's recite, and I'll recite if you follow. فلا
فلا
تدع مع الله
تدعو
مع الله
إلها
إلها
آخر
آخر
فتكون
فتكون
من المعذبين
من المؤذبين
وأنذر
وأنذر
عشيرة
عشيرتك
الأقرب
الأقرب
It's a qa, but it's also a slight bouncing sound. So الأقرب
الأقرب
بين. Okay. واخفض.
sorry واغفر
So this is a dad sound. Da, da. If it's a bit tricky, you can say da, but it has to be a very thick sound. Yeah. So واخفض
واغفر
جناح sorry حك لمن اتبعك
لمن تبعك
من المؤمنين.
من المؤمنين.
Okay, well done. That was really good recitation. Some of these words are quite tricky, but that's what we're learning. So well done for that. So when you come across a qaf, you know that. Do you know what kind of a sound this is? Is it a thin sound or a thick sound?
Thin.
It's actually a thick sounding letter. And what also occurs with this letter is there's a slight bouncing sound with that one. So we read it as aq. While we're reciting that, the back of your tongue touches the top part of your throat, but your mouth also goes round so that you say it correctly. Aq. And so there's a slight bouncing sound as well, because this is from among the bouncing letters, yes? Yeah, okay. And when we're reading ha over here, how do you pronounce this letter here?
It's from the throat, like ha.
Excellent. So you're aware of it. So what you need to do is pronounce it a lot more than you think you need to. So instead of saying ha, say ha. Make it really pronounced. Ha.
Ha.
Again, tighten your throat while you're saying it. Ha.
Ha.
Yeah, okay, so that's fine, okay. And over here, this dad, this is one of the trickiest letters, but you can pick it up if you practice again and again. This sound is ba sound, yeah? And how you do it is you make your tongue like you touch your tongue on the side of your teeth inside your mouth, all of your teeth on one side. While you're doing that, you also push your tongue at the back and you say ba. And it sounds like a dal, but it's really thick sound. Wa.
Zo.
So yeah, if you're going to say zo, make it very thick. Zo.
Zo.
Yeah, really, and your mouth has to go round in order for you to say it correctly. Yes.
Yes. G.
Okay. Yeah, Jazakallah. Excellent. That was really good reading. Jazakallah G2723. Assalamu alaikum. Support teacher. Can I have another student?
Student G2646, unmute their mic.
G2646.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Okay, are you ready to read?
Yes.
Okay, let's start. فإن
فإن
عصوك
عصوك
again عصوك فقل إني بريء. Do you want to read that? بريء Okay, so let's read it all together because it's one word. So this is quite tricky. So we learned this last week on in the hard words, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to join this onto this mim mushaddad, and it's quite tricky. Just hear what I'm going to read to you. So just pay attention. Bari mimma.
bari'um mimma
تعملون
ta'lamun
تعملون.
ta'lamalun
Well done. Okay, yes, the meme comes before the lam. So again, تعملون.
ta'lamalun
Well done. Try not to make this sound move. So try to just hold on to it. Let's try that again. Ta.
ta
That's it. Well done. So let's read that together. تعملون.
ta'lamalun
Yes, very important to see which letters come in which order. So remember, the meme is before the lam in this case. تعملون.
ta'malun
Well done. وتوكل
wa tawakkal
على العزيز
'alal aziz
على العزيز الرحيم. Go ahead.
'alal aziz rahim
Well done. الذي
alladhi
يراك
yaraka
حين تقوم
hina taqum
وتقلبك
wa taqallubaka
قلبك وتقلبك
wa taqallubaka
في الساجدين.
fis sajidin.
Well done. Okay, so some of those letters are quite tricky. Okay, so when you read this Z sound here, how does this sound?
Z
Well done. And when you see this one, how does this one sound?
Z
Well done. So when you're reciting them, there's not much of a difference, simply because what happens when reciting in continuation, we're trying to look at the next letter. It's really important to get the letters correct. You obviously, you know the sound very well because you just said it well. So make sure that there's a difference between this Z, so Z, and this the, like a the sound, the, yeah? So
Yeah.
let's read that again. Alladhi.
alladhi yaraka hina taqum.
Well done. Okay, and the same applies to the ha again. So yaraka hina taqum.
Yaraka hina taqum.
Well done. You read really well. All you need to do is practice it. So remember, when you come across letters that sound different, they have to be very different. He sound, yeah? And the sound in this case, yes?
Yes.
Jazakallah, excellent. Jazakallah G2646.
Takla. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Support teacher, can I have another student, please?
And student G2658, unmute their mic.
G26.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Alhamdulillah, I'm well. Let's recite. Okay. Wama
وما
تنزلت.
تنزلت
So that's a noon. We're reading as na. تنزلت
تنزلت
به الشياطين.
به الشياطين به الشياطين
وما
وما
ينبغي.
ينبغي.
Okay, so you can notice this says yan. You can see a noon sakin next to the ya, and you know that when you see a sukoon, you have to join it onto the letter previous to it. But in this case, you can see a small meme above it. You can see that little meme? Yeah. We ignore the noon sakin in this case, and we read it as a meme. So a meme sakin. Instead of saying yan, we say yam. Meme after it, okay? So instead of saying noon, we say meme, but you'll also see there's a ba after it. And in this case, we have to hold it for 2 seconds. So let's read that as a meme. Yambaghi
ينبغي
lahum wama
لهم وما
yastati'un.
يستطيعون.
Well done, because that was really tricky. Ayn, you read it very well. إنهم
إنهم
عن السمع.
عن السمع
So what you do is you stretch it. It's a really tight sound, but it's not stretched. Certainly not. Don't make it longer, but do make it strong. Yeah, that's it. So let's read that again. عن السمع.
عن السمع
Well done. لمعزولون.
لمعزولون.
Well done. So when you see a wow, which is a sukoon, and is preceded, which means something, a letter that carries a dhamma before it, we recite it for 2 seconds, okay? لمعزولون.
لمعزولون.
Okay. فلا
فلا تدعوا
مع الله
مع الله
إلها.
إلها.
So we read this because it's a tanween, a fathatain that carries a noon. Han. This one, yeah, is a han. Ilahan.
إلها
Akhara.
آخر.
Ra.
رو.
Fataku. Fa. Ta.
تا
And ku. Let's read it together. Fataku.
فتكون
Naminal
من
mu'azzabin.
المعذبين.
Again, the dhal sound. The. Mu'azzabin.
معذبين.
Well done, excellent. That was very good reading. You see this dhal sound here. So this dhal, when you say the, can you say the word the? Can you see where your tongue touches? It touches your top teeth. That's the sound that we need to hear from this one. The. Yeah? Adha. Try that again. Adha.
عذ.
Excellent. Well done. So let's try that again. Adhabin.
Azabin.
Well done. Okay, excellent. And you read this really well because this one's quite tricky over here. So when we see and the name of Allah and before it you see a maftul letter, it has to be rounded. You did that very well. And also you did the expression of the ayn very, very well. So in your practice, remember, you just have to make sure that you get the ayn correct and the zal correct. Okay?
Okay.
Jazakallah. Excellent reading. Jazakallah G2658. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Okay, support teacher, can I have another student to recite?
And student G2646, come to the mic, please.
2646. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam warahmatullah. How are you?
I'm good. Alhamdulillah. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm very well. Okay, let's read. وأنذر
وأنذر
عشيرتك الأقربين. Let's read that together.
الأقربين
واخفض جناحك لمن اتبعك من المؤمنين فإن عصوك فقل إني بريء مما تعملون وتوكل على العزيز العزيز الرحيم العزيز الرحيم. Okay. This is quite tricky. Rahim. Zero. Remember, we have to join this Z onto this ra. Rahim. Well done, excellent. That was really, really good reading. You read very, very well. Just one thing. So when we come up to any sakin letter, try not to make it move. So meaning to say, because this one's quite tricky, the ayn is really tricky to join onto the letter previous to it. But let's practice that for a second. So instead of saying ta'a, we'll be saying ta. Try that. Ta. Excellent. And over here, one moment. Let me see if I can find another one. Over here, this lam. How long do we hold a lam sakin for? Do you know?
No.
1 second only. Any sukoon letter, you hold it 1 second only. Yeah, remember that. What happens is we get into habits and we end up holding the lam or the meme, for instance, for too long. In this case, this is a lam sakin. It's only supposed to be held for 1 second. Let's try that together. وَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى الْعَزِيزِ الرَّحِيمِ.
وتوكل على العزيز الرحيم.
Okay, well done. So you see the difference, yeah? So don't hold on to the lam for too long, meaning don't stop on it. So don't read it as kal, read it as kal, yeah? And the sakin letters, try not to make the move. So ta, yeah?
Yeah.
Well done. That was very good reading. Jazakallah G2646.
Jazakallah.
And
Allah
Hafiz.
Hafiz.
Okay. Can I have one more student to practice with me? And then we'll go on to the hard words.
Can student G2666 unmute their mic?
G2666, Assalamu alaikum. Okay, I don't think we have a student G2666. Can we have another one?
Can student G2677 unmute their mic?
G2677, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good, alhamdulillah. So let's read. Okay. وَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى
وَتَوَكَّلْ
عَلَى
عَلَى
الْعَزِيزِ الرَّحِيمِ
الرحيم
الذي
يراك
حين
حين تقوم
وتقلبك.
وتقلب
Okay, let's take it slowly. So wow sound is a W sound, not a V sound. So when we say V, our teeth touch our lips, but with a W sound, our teeth don't touch our lips. Try that. Wa. Well done. Just remember that in recitation. The wow sound is a W sound, okay? So wataqallu. Qallu. Baka. Well done. Fissa. Excuse me, sorry. Okay, well done. That was very good reading. One moment, let's go up and read another verse. Okay. Wama tanazzalat bihi shayatin. Again, bihi shayatin. Okay, excellent. That was very good reading, G2 677. You read very, very well. Just remember to when you're reciting the wow, it's a W sound, okay? Jazakallah.
Okay.
Okay.
Jazakallah.
Allah Hafiz. Okay, so just before we go into the next part of our lesson, just remember to fill in the attendance form for today. So today's hard words are, let me read it to you. Yubayi'naka. Again, the same thing occurs here. So where I was reciting to you the ayn before, remember, when you see a letter that carries a sukoon, we have to join it onto the letter previous to it. But remember not to move the sound unless it's a bouncing letter. And this one is not a bouncing letter. So when we come across these letters, words, they can be hard. So it's better to break down the word in order for you to learn it. So in the first instance, you can see that there's a ja, and the ja carries a dhamma. And that sound is you. And the next sound you can see, or the next letter that you can see, is a ba, which carries a fatha, which is also followed by an alif. And you know that this is a letter of prolongation. So when you see a fatha sound before an alif, that makes it a prolongation of how long? We recite it for 2 seconds. So again, the first letter was you, and then we understand this one is ba. Let's read it together. You ba. remembering to elongate for 2 seconds. And then we see a ya and an ayn. Now, when we see a word that's difficult, it's really important to concentrate on the joining letters of that word, because you have to remember that you have to join the mutaharrik letter previous to it onto that letter. So we have to figure out which one it is. In this case, it's a yi. So we have to join it onto the ayn, which is, don't forget, quite a tricky sound. Remember, try not to move it as well. So let's read that by itself. Yi, yi. Okay, so coming back to the beginning, you ba, yi. So we've got this far, and then you'll see that it's followed by a noon that is carrying a fatha, which makes it a na sound. Let's read that together. So you ba, yi, na. And then the last letter in this word is ka. So that's a ka that carries a fatha, and so the sound is ka. Let's read that all together now. So starting from the beginning on the first slide. You ba, yi, na, naka. So I hope that's clear. That's how you recite hard words that you come across in the Holy Quran that are a bit trickier to read. You break them down and read the letters one by one. On to the next word. Again, this may be short, but as you can see, there's quite tricky letters in this one. So what do we have to do when we see a hard word? We have to look at the joining letters to see what we have to do with them in terms of the rules. These two, the swad that carries a shadda, which makes it a mushaddad letter, but it's also got a fatha above it. And the ayn is also a letter that carries a shadda, but it carries a fatha above it. So we know we have to join them both onto the previous mutaharrik, which means a letter that carries a vowel, onto this letter. So this one looks quite tricky. Let's try it together. So when we see a shadda letter, we concentrate on that one first. So in this case, it's a swad. So remember, when you see a shadda, there are 2 letters beneath that letter, beneath that shadda. And we have to join on just the sound in the first instance. So in this case, we see before it, you'll see a ya that carries a fatha. And we have to join the swa sound onto the ya, which carries a fatha. So this would be yas. And remember, the swad is a thick sound, so it's like a full mouth sound, yas. Rather than yes, which is a scene, there's a difference. Yas, so, like so sound. Okay, so we've got that clear, but then that also carries a fatha. So remember, yas, so. We have to say the 2 swad underneath the shadda in order for it to join correctly. But following this letter, you can see there's another letter with a shadda, and that's an ayn. Remember, we're just joining on the sound of the ayn in the first instance. So, yaswa, swa. So we're joining the ayn onto the end of the swad. And then we go ahead and we do the mutaharrik part, which is the voweled part of this ayn with the letters previous to it. So let's read that together. Yaswa. Yaswa. It's quite tricky because they're very tricky letters. Okay, and the last letter you will see here is du. So let's read that from the beginning. Yas, yaswa, yaswa, and yaswa, and then yaswa, adu. So it's quite tricky, but you can do it if you remember to break down each letter, understanding what it means, what the stroke above it means. So it becomes quite easy once you've understood that. So let's go over that again one more time. So in the first instance, it's yes, just yes, because remember, we're just joining the sound for now. Then we say yes, swat, because we're joining the mutaharrik part of the swad on with the ayn, because we're joining the sound of the ayn onto the swad. Yes, swat, yes, swat, yes, swat, adu. Okay, so I hope that's really clear. It is a bit tricky, but once you start practicing it in the Holy Quran, when you come across these words, it becomes fairly easy because practice helps you to improve. Wonderful. Okay, 1 moment, sorry about that. Okay. So on to the last part of our class for today. So just a quick consolidation. So the rule that we learned today was the miniature noon. 1 moment, my mouse is doing things, right? Is a miniature noon. So the reference is in Talimul-Quran, lesson number 22, page 93. And the practice text was chapter 26, Surah Ash-Shura, and verses 211 to 220. The hard words of the tilawat were yubayi'naka and yas'adu. Okay, and the homework for today, again, is to practice today's verses, applying all the rules we revised so far in your daily tilawat, paying attention to what you do and when to pause, and remember to keep practicing your hifz chapters in your salat as well. Excellent. Okay, so I'm a support teacher. Can I have a student to do the end prayer for today?
And student G2703, unmute the mic.
G2703, Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome.
Sorry, excuse me. Okay, let's read this together. Allahumma arhamni
Allahumma arhamni
Bil-Qur'anil azim
Bil-Qur'an al-Azim
waj'alhu li
waj'alhu li
imaman wa
imam
nuran wa
nuran wa
hudan wa rahmah.
hudan wa rahmah.
Okay, and the translation.
Oh Allah, have mercy on me through the Quran the Great,
Okay, if you could read this slowly, go ahead.
and make it for me the leader, the light, the guidance, and the mercy.
Excellent. Jazakallah. Jazakallah. That wraps up our class for today. Jazakallah G2703. Jazakallah for your recitation. Allah Hafiz. Just a quick reminder, so this is the last week of our class, and please do join Friday's class on time, and that's our end session on Friday. So inshallah, we hope you have classes tomorrow and Thursday and Friday, inshallah. Okay, Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.